Fire podcast. Gonna
Shot
clap
that.
every time.
Oh, you did great.
Thanks.
All right.
So Dan he's got some things on his heart.
Yep. It's fall.
Yes.
It's beautiful outside. The trees are actually a different color this podcast.
Yeah, we're approaching November.
My favorite part of fall is all the really deep movies that come out at the end of the year and awesome video games that get released. Because I really enjoy that. Because like you're cooped up inside, and that's when you wanna. That's when you wanna release stuff in October, and November, because people are so cooped up and they gotta see your product. Go to the movies because you can't go outside anymore. Mm-hmm. Summer movies generally suck.
Right, winter movies are definitely more.
Yep.
They're more in depth.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's holiday season, so.
Right.
Probably that's why some of the video games get let out, so they can be like Christmas presents.
Right. Yeah, it's just so exciting. And then you can start drinking a lot more coffee. It's a lot more fun.
I drink the same amount of coffee year round.
but you're a nurse, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a mom. When it's hot, you do iced coffee. When it's cold, you do hot coffee.
There you go. So, like, when you go to Starbucks, it's like venti or die. Or bust. Venti or bust, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I try to just do grande, but I'll add, like, some espresso to it or something.
Right.
I try to save money. I try not to go to Starbucks.
I have a...
Except with Anna. Because
There
she
you go.
gets that employee discount.
That's Starbucks barista discount.
Mm-hmm.
I always get talls on Fridays, and I take my dog into Target with me, and literally the baristas at the Target Starbucks that I live near, they always say hi to my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a little tiny dog, so you can take him places.
He literally doesn't make a sound, but he can be a little bad sometimes.
What's your favorite fall drink?
I don't think I have a...
PSL?
No. I like chestnut praline, but I think that's more wintertime because it's low calorie and it's still very sweet. And I'm not a huge pumpkin spice guy. Low calorie? Yes, it is. It's like half the calories of your normal PSL or whatever. Mm. Yeah, so that's that. And I like the clothes you can wear. You can wear like actual outfits, whereas like in the summertime you're just sweaty, hot. And if you have something on that's white or like a lighter color, you're gonna destroy it by the end of the season, basically. Whereas in fall you can probably get about like, I don't know, years of wear out of that clothing
That's
material.
true. Yeah, like all the sweaters. I'm sure I've had some sweaters I've had for like
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years probably.
Yep. And I like sleeping cold. So it's just like, I think it's my favorite season. I'm also born in the fall, so it kind of makes me I really like that. Maybe that's the season I came alive in, but I also feel like on a songwriting perspective, all my songwriting happens when it's cold. And you kind of end it summertime. Summertime, like all I listen to is like country music and just pop crap, and that's really great. But come like fall and winter time, I gotta listen to something like deep, and I also create deep stuff because you're cooped up, and you're inside, cooped in. You're inside, and like you're just forced to your own creative or non-creative methods, but you just have to take it in. So that's why I think it's like one of my favorite seasons.
I say so. You sound really excited.
I love fall.
You got your fall boots out.
Yeah, no, I
got tennis shoes on today.
Tennis shoes. I pretty much, I have a whole part of my closet dedicated to just like the shoes of the season. So yeah, you know what it is. Yeah.
Do you still have your colognes by season also?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to be like you in that way. Like this year, I've been really trying to enjoy each season, each month, instead of being like, oh, I can't wait for this. Oh, I can't wait for that. Trying to be really present. And but not just being like, oh, I'm just bored and present, but like, oh, what are the scents of this season?
Yeah.
What can we wear? Like, it was interesting in September, I was ready for fall, but I was like, it's still kind of hot.
It's 91 degrees in Cleveland.
So you still have to embrace those like summer dresses and like it's okay,
Yeah.
and sit outside and soak up that sunshine because we live in Ohio and winter
it can be whatever
is coming.
it is. Yeah. Winter is coming.
Not to quote Game of Thrones, but winter is coming.
For about 6 months.
And it'll last forever.
Yeah. I think the summer is cool because you get to all the cool festivals and stuff like that. And it's crazy. I think like one of my highest personal goals is just at least once a year do an outdoor show, play an outdoor show in like a pavilion. Those are kind of like my like every summer goals, but sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But we were supposed to do a gig July 4th, but it actually ended up raining.
Oh.
So we were just like, yeah, we're gonna have to push this back.
Did it rain on July 4th?
Yeah. No, where we were going.
Oh, okay.
Where we were going, so it was more so east. But like, yeah, it was not very good. Not a good turnout.
And you're like, no. Did you still do it?
No, we didn't do it yet. We're actually trying to do a fall concert now. Actually, yeah. But
yeah.
All right, so
fall.
The reason why I wanted to talk about fall is last night I saw a movie with my wife Gabrielle called Ad Astra.
It's a new Brad Pitt movie.
I don't know if he directed it. That's what a lot of actors are doing these days.
Just keep talking. I'll look it up.
But I'm a huge Brad Pitt fan. Like I feel like he just like really he goes into element so hard with the roles that he takes.
The director was James Gray.
Yeah, so that wasn't Brad Pitt. But I felt like he was involved in it because I felt like Brad was able to even more so kind of become his role. And in this movie, he was an astronaut, and in my opinion, I think astronauts have to kind of be really level people, not always the most emotional, and basically you just watch him throughout this journey in this film, and you watch him from kind of like he's just a space commander. He was recently divorced, and he says it's because of his job, but also his personality is just really dense. And the filmography is like the most beautiful thing ever, and along the lines of all the other space movies that have been coming out over the past 5 years, that there's been like this new genre of space movies that has really come out, and they've just involved themselves in ways that I feel like I haven't really seen since like Apollo 13.
That's what I was about to say. It's like since Apollo 13.
Yeah, like that movie had
so. The other day.
Yeah, that's like the best top deal right there. Tom Hanks. But
the legend.
Yeah, he has some great movies coming out too that he's working with Steven Spielberg with. But
that's cool.
I feel like this movie had just so much grit in it, and like it was so quiet that you had to, when the character talked, it made the scenes so kind of loud in a sense, and like you just really took in the emotionalism of the character, and his emotionalism was just like it was growing throughout the film, because not to give away too much of the story, but basically he makes a journey to his father, because they received messages from his father, who was also an astronaut. And in the film, his father was at a station in Neptune, and somewhere along the line in his father's journey, they were trying to discover alien life. I'm trying not to give away too much of the film. He's trying to discover alien life, and from Neptune, the government picked up, there's these shock waves that are starting from Neptune, from where his father was posted years before. And they lost contact with his father, Brad Pitt's father.
Mm-hmm.
And
don't tell everything.
No, this isn't like the
that's in the trailer.
This is in the trailer, and he talks about it a little bit. But you just watch throughout the movie just how the character is just like, what am I doing here? What am I doing with this life and his journey? And he's divorced from his wife, and he hasn't seen his father in so long, and he's just an astronaut, and just life in the day-to-day is kind of like just bogged him down, and he just doesn't really understand his purpose. And for me, watching the film, it really made me kind of reflect on like, so I have these huge goals in mind or something, and sometimes it gets swallowed up in just the day to day, and sometimes things such as like loving my spouse or just loving my siblings or the people around me and my family and friends just get swallowed up by things I have to do, and you just sometimes you get far away from spirituality, which you started out this journey with. You start out as a human being, and you start out understanding like there's certain aspects of just being a human being and what's important, and sometimes you lose that in your 40-hour work days and such like that. And sometimes you get bogged down and it's just pressure, all that pressure, and you just start hurting. Sometimes you can even hurt people around you. Sometimes you can get divorced. Sometimes you can break friendships. Sometimes you can break ties with people, and you because maybe there was just too much that happened and stuff. But it's just like the movie showed really the journey of getting back to what was important, at least in my perspective. Other people are going to walk into it.
Because you're saying, like, he, because of his job, because of his aspirations, he kind of was like, okay, my life has to be completely focused on his job, essentially.
Yep.
And he lost a lot of the emotional connections that he had.
Yeah, and, like, what is the most important thing in life is love, in my experience. And it's just like he completely put that backseat, everything for the job, everything for the dream, or what is the dream, what is the job, what is life. And you can see him actually at certain moments in the film. He says, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, the mission anymore. I don't know if I want to even be. And he finally gets to a point in the film, he's talking about, I don't even, what's it worth? Why am I alive? And that's just something that like just really blew me away in that journey of the film. And it's like so important to keep refocusing, because how far away can you get from what really matters? Like walking out of the theater, I'm looking at my wife, I'm like, I love you, babe. Like I feel so like so encouraged to just like be in the moment, because sometimes I feel kind of like I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always looking at just the next steps I have to take, and not being in the moment, enjoying what matters most, and enjoying my family and like my loved ones, my friends, and just enjoying life as it goes, because it's a ride. And yeah, that's what I took from the film without giving away too much. I think I gave away a little too much though.
Well.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't too much.
It wasn't too much?
No.
Yeah.
Do you so what would you encourage somebody who, you know, maybe they do have the 9-to-5 job out of necessity?
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
I love the culture that we live in right now, because entrepreneur and self-starting businesses, that's really on the forefront, and I think that it's gonna eventually somehow like overturn the regular 9-to-5 in some sort of way. But I think there's a lot of people, and maybe they are not miserable in their jobs, but you know, maybe they're wanting to have creative outlets, they're wanting to feel more inspired. Like what is, because you kind of live in a happy medium. Like you have a little bit more of a flexible schedule, as do I.
Yeah.
You know, you really focus on your craft. You're very disciplined with that.
Yeah.
You know, so you have that flexibility. But say somebody who works Monday through Friday, you know, 9-to-5 or whatever, 8-to-4. What would you say to them? How would you encourage them if they're feeling kind of like stuck, like, and they need to stay in their job, not just like, oh, just quit your job and it'll be fine. You know, what would you say to them?
Well, I say that everybody actually has free time. Everybody, regardless of what you say, I know that at least once a week you're going to have about 2 hours of free time for just you, not for your kids, not for your family. And if you're not doing that, you're probably going to go crazy.
You're probably saying just 2 hours total for the whole week?
No, at least for the whole week. That's including moms, dads, people who work.
Yeah.
And you're gonna You're gonna watch your sports. You're gonna watch your movies. You're gonna watch your TV. You're gonna go. I don't care. Whatever. Facebook, Instagram. You're gonna spend time. I don't care. Like polka. You can do pool. You're gonna have some type of thing that you do. Whatever. Everybody I know somebody had. I know people have like, oh, I go to the gym, which is like some guys are like, well, I'm allowed to go to the gym for 2 hours, 3 days a week. So like, I think that if you want to be a creator, which is I think what you're asking.
Kind of like, how would you, like, if someone came to you and was like, Danny, like, I struggle with, I'm working this job.
Yeah.
And I need to, and I don't even hate my job, but I'm looking for space to say they want to write their book.
Yeah.
Say they want to, even if you want to become a lot more health conscious. I don't know, what advice would you give to them if someone came to you with that kind of a question? Like, hey, like, I see you have a job, and you have, you're working on your more artistic career.
Music, yeah.
Yeah, music.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to them?
You have free time, and kind of in a sense, you are what you eat. So let's say content, or let's say artistic content, or whatever content. If you want to, I have a friend of mine. He has a basketball team that he coaches.
Cool.
And he's able to do that because what is he doing when he goes home? He's playing 2K, which is a basketball video game, and he's watching every basketball game, and he just wants to put into kids basically what he's received himself, and that was, he didn't, as far as I know, he kind of kept his grades straight and didn't do any drugs and stuff like that. He graduated from high school, so he decided on Fridays in the evenings he's going to coach this basketball team. So you are what you eat, what you take in is what you're going to put out.
Yeah.
So if you aspire to be a musician, a writer, or like let's say a short film creator, you should be taking that in. With your free time, or at least the time that you have, and just so for instance, you're good at you do blogging, so you must read a lot of blogs. Do you read blogs?
Yeah.
So you're going to put out what you take in,
Mm-hmm.
and if you feel like I'm kind of dead inside, or you feel like I just don't have that creative ability, it's probably because you've never explored it. Maybe somebody didn't push you towards that. Maybe you weren't pushed that way, or you weren't inspired. But you can get inspired because the internet is the hugest. It's kind of oversaturated, feels like, but it's such a resource for getting inspired for literally anything you want to do right now.
Yeah.
So you are what you eat is just my thought about that. And
yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think what I would say, what I'm trying to put into practice myself, is not so using your time wisely, but then setting aside chunks of time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give an example: blogging. I'll write usually 3 blogs at a time.
Wow.
But I don't post them 3 at a time.
Right.
I don't edit them 3 at a time. But I'll sit down and say, I'm going to take 2 hours. I'm going to, previously I'd written down the stuff that I wanted to write about in bullet points. And then I take that time and I do it.
Yeah.
I think there's this misconception that people think they just have to create constantly.
Oh, that's such a misconception.
It is, because one, it's impossible.
Yeah. And it can be very uninspired.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think when you do feel inspired, you should write down some bullet points.
Yep.
You should think about it maybe for a little while, and then after some time, write that song, write that blog.
Yeah.
Show that video.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think people are like, oh, to be successful, we have to just be constantly putting out content. And it's well, it's better to put out,
good content.
And then, spend that time. If I write 3 blogs in 2 hours, and then I go back and periodically edit them, I can have, if I'm letting 1 blog out every month, then then I have 3 months of blog content when I only spent 2 hours writing them. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
so
do
you're
that.
saying like you probably do that.
I do that with mainly guitar parts and also vocals, verses or vocals for songs like lyrics. Guitar parts, like my most recent song, I created that guitar riff all the way back in 2011. But until I felt ready and had enough life experiences to create the song around the song, because like with the guitar part, I felt a certain thing. And I just didn't feel like it was cooked enough until now, and I released it. Yeah. And basically, it wasn't rushed.
It took time.
Yeah, so you just kind of recycle it, and you just kind of take it in, and you just go from there. Because like, if I compared how I played and how I sang, even 5 years ago to now, it's completely different. And sometimes you know that you can grow and you can change, you can become more refined in your art and your skill.
I think that's a good thing too. Like some things need some time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think, I don't know why I just thought of this. Like soup.
Yeah.
Or like sauce.
Yeah.
You know,
Soup's
cooks.
got a lot in it. Hopefully.
I don't know why, but like it takes all day.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times to cook and simmer. And I think in our Instagram world and our Facebook, we are like, oh, this happened, let's post it right now, you know?
Yeah.
Posting in real time, I don't know why we think it's, like, more significant than if you've, like, oh, I took some time and I'm posting more intentionally.
Yes.
You know? That's just something, like, I know from a lot of people who have these platforms that are already, like, very... I can't think of the word right now. They're big. They're...
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm moving on.
I think like how I like Instagram for my music, or at least my guitar playing specifically, is I could be learning something, or I could have something that comes to me.
Established. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
Yeah. Established in.
People that I follow who are established online, that is like what I was saying, that's like the routine that they have. They're not constantly posting in real time.
Yes.
They post intentionally.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Sorry.
Or they got so good at it, and that became their job.
Yeah, this is how these people, they make money online because they intentionally post on Instagram.
I think the most terrifying aspect of that is, like, what if you got popular for something that you grew out of? I think that would be the most terrifying thing. I've seen, like, a lot of bloggers say, like, grow out of video blogging, which made them popular. And then they create a t-shirt company in a gym or something like that, which is actually somebody I follow. And now he's like, I'm actually really burnt out. And I've been burnt out for, I think, 2 years. And I keep doing this.
Is it just because... Like, why is he burnt out, though? Because he changed what he was doing.
He's carrying around a camera, or somebody's carrying around a camera around him, and he feels so, like, he has more time for a video blog than... This is the other part of the topic of why I like this movie. He was so obsessed with his job of video blogging.
Okay.
Not the movie, but this guy I followed, and I really like. And he just was... He's just burnt out. He's just not.
Why, though?
He's been doing it for 3 years, and he doesn't feel like his personal life.
Because he's constantly doing videos.
Yes. So his love life, his family, his dogs, or even his own personal. So he's a bodybuilder. So like even his bodybuilding journey has not been as successful as it would have been, he thinks, if he wasn't video blogging. So he's doing now monthly uploads instead of every week.
Yeah.
So I was like, good job, buddy.
Because I think, too, which is kind of why, you know, I like doing it every other week, or podcast. I think that's okay.
For now.
Yeah. But if it gets to a point where we only need to do it once a month, it's going to be fine. But it's like, people are so overwhelmed with different things.
Yeah.
With content, with, oh, come look at my new thing. Oh, check out my new product. Oh, it's more... I feel like it's important to, like, kind of, like, make them wait for it.
Yeah,
you know, like, so you're a video blogger guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what day, you know, but, like, on the 5th of every month, he uploads a video.
Every Tuesday.
Okay, every Tuesday. I thought you said he only does it once a month.
Now he does it only once a month, but it's when he decides, because he wants to be human again.
Oh, I see.
And that's why I love this movie so much. It's because, like, you saw his job, you saw how good he was at his job, and he was the best. Literally, people keep, like, not doing it. Let's say not doing as well as him. Let's just say not doing as well as him, and he's just had answers for things. But you see his personal life was not there, and you could see he was just a dead person. He was a zombie, which is, I think, a huge part of something I've kind of, like, come to understand and appreciate is, like, health. Your own personal health and wellness. That's, like, a big thing I have a push for these days for myself. It's like, and so I'm putting out, let's say I'm recording this song, or I'm trying to make this Instagram video, I'm trying to even do this podcast, or I'm trying to make my job turn out and make the best amount of, because I do sales, so I try and make the best amount of money I can in my job.
Just like hustle,
and it's just everything is just overwhelming. I got to take out the trash, and then just like doing chores around the house, and then like personal time with my my spouse, or just like spending time with people. Am I there, and am I putting into that too? Because in order to put out, like, on any level, even on a love level, you have to receive that too, and you have to be a part of it, and it just kind of goes in a circle. And I think that's something that I really appreciate about the film, that he realized. I shouldn't give it away, but, like, you see that's the missing element of his life. And if you get consumed in your job, whatever it is, whatever your job is, and if you get consumed in your day-to-day,
if it runs your life,
and then you just turn on Netflix at the end of the day and kiss your spouse once, or never, like, kind of invest anything into them, or they never invest into you, or you don't really care about your family and such, it's a community element, a human element that we were made for since the earliest since the beginning of time, because we were made to be in community with each other, and to the greatest thing that we want is actually love, to give love and receive love. And if you're not actually filling up that tank, and you're not filling up that part of you, you're really missing out, and it will come up. It's going to come out in your other ways of your life. It's going to come out in your job. It's going to come out in your creative experience, or whatever it is. And it's just, I think that was the biggest takeaway I had from this film. Just kind of like your relationship with God, your relationship, it has to be a aspect of what you are, not just a side thought, or just something that you do once a week.
It has to be more of the core of who you are, if that's what you're saying. Because, like, we were designed for, like, intentional, relational, creative. Even if your creative is, like...
Yeah, you can go creative 110%, but, like, you can die inside in that, too.
There has to be balance. And I think, like, that's what a lot of people... Like, I would say this guy that you've watched, like the video blogger guy, the vlogger.
He just wanted to be a human. He realized
he just wanted to be normal. But, like, a lot of people, I think, are getting to a point where they're like, okay, we are so overwhelmed by all of this constant need to put stuff up online and, you know, show everybody what's going on. And I love sharing things that I love. You know, I like to do little videos. Like, I like to blog, whatever. But it has to be, it can't be every day. I can't be trying to whip out writing stuff every single day.
Yeah.
You know, like...
There's a healthy balance. And even,
and
like,
I don't think people would even want to read it from every day.
No, I think they're just, like, hearting that picture and they're scrolling through it, so they'll get it back.
They're like, oh, cool.
That's how I feel about that. But even for the non-creative person or something like that, even for them, like, just... maybe go out on a limb, be a little bit more creative, or maybe be a little bit more passionate towards your spouse. Maybe be more intentional towards your loved ones. Maybe be intentional with the people that are immediately around you, and realize what you do have, instead of just, because in this consumerism world that we live in, we are like, oh, if I had that chair, if I had that microphone, if I had that guitar, if I had that car, and what you're losing is how important you are, how important. You're the most remarkable thing walking you're on the face of Earth. Mm-hmm. And everybody around you is also that too. And if you're just overlooking that, if you're not caring about even the smallest person, the biggest person in your life or whatever, you're missing out. You're missing out, and you can go through this whole life. And Brad Pitt's character in this movie, he's significantly older, and you can see he has a life of regret. And something he keeps repeating himself in this movie is like, I let everybody down. I keep failing everybody. And it's like, you're thinking about it, you're like, this guy is freaking Captain America. No, like, it's more than that. He's like such a superhero. He does everything so right, and you can see he's just like, I got nothing. And he's walking, and you can see he's just walking around with that feeling. And it's such a... some people might watch it and think it's boring. It's a significantly quiet film, and it has...
That's the vibe I got from it when I was watching it. I was like,
quiet.
Is very different.
It's not high action. It's not high octane. It has moments of that, but it's more so about quiet of space and filmography, and then the character, which I was like totally invested in.
Obviously.
I thought it was great.
All right, so to wrap up, because I feel like, we've probably done enough time. To wrap up this podcast, give me like an ending statement, a takeaway that somebody could have for this episode. Like a short takeaway.
Just focus on a healthy balance. Even like, what do you feel like you're missing? Sometimes there's parts of people that just need to be reawakened. Like, maybe you need to go to the gym again. Maybe you need to do something new. Maybe you need to go on a journey. Maybe you need to put more into your spouse. Heck, maybe you need to put more into your job. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to put your head down and focus on that.
How are you showing up?
Yeah, with like what energy, and how can you make this long lasting? Long lasting is by investing in yourself, investing in other people, and just sometimes being calm, and just sometimes just focusing on what matters, and then every other aspect of your life will kind of have an umbrella effect, and it will just kind of reap the benefit of that. But yeah.
Cool.
All right, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. And
share, like, subscribe, follow.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
I'm just gonna say it like that every time.
This podcast we'll be putting out a new one every 2 weeks, so looking forward to y'all. And if y'all have any comments or feedback, drop it in the comments. And we love messages and stuff like that. And hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
Bye.